approximately 15 great white shark. They're advising that you exit the water in a calm manner. The sharks are as close as the surf line. Thank you for your cooperation.
Okay, good afternoon, good evening everybody, and welcome to the ZMS live stream of the team time trial, the Love team time trial. And today it's the 6 team head-to-head for week 1. Now the 6 teams, we'll get them on screen in a moment, but the 6 teams are OTR green, OTR black, No Pins Race Free R, Team Free R True 2, Poker Motion, here we go, and Cyber CCS. They're on screen now. So this is the end of week 1. There's another 4 weeks I believe to go, and this is going to be a head-to-head between these 6 teams. Now we've no idea, although some of these are recorded, we've no idea of what the win. Well, I've no idea of what the winning time is. So this will be pretty exciting and live for me as we go along. We've already covered some of the races, so we know the format. But basically, it's usually 5 members. Although you can see we've got 6 now in the teams. In fact, we've got 7 here. But only 3 of the riders count. So if you see the teams with more than the 3 riders, then it's because they've been able to field a full team. We'll look at the individual teams as we get underway, but the race is starting in just under a minute, 48 seconds, and we'll get a better look at the different teams and the different riders. We'll try and call them out as we get underway on the road, and then we can switch between the different teams and look at the splits as we go. Damon's just announced, yes, of course, 7 is the bot. So yeah, maximum of 6 in any team, but only the top 3 to count. So I'm looking forward to this. It should be a good head-to-head. We've not had 6 at the same time. Here we go, 10 seconds to go, and we're going to be underway. Now it'll be fast and furious at the start. They'll put the hammer down, and off we go. So what we'll do is we'll concentrate on the teams in and out, one at a time. But you can see all 6 teams have made the start here. And then we'll announce the names of the riders if we can. I don't know all the first names, unfortunately, but in fact 2 of these teams I've never seen before. But this is Cyber CCS, and I do recognise Maxime Turcotte here, Dufour, Moni, and Dalla. Now this must be the North American contingent because they're all Canadians. So I've no idea what we can expect from this team, but it's looking good at the moment. They're setting a nice pace off the start line. Now this is Poker Motion, and again Nick Giles I know very well. He's a very well-known rider. Jay Linden, another nice rider. Samut, yes, a regular. In fact, Aluni is the only one out of this team that I'm not familiar with. But these are going to be strong riders. The Poker Motion team, I reckon, are going to be challenging for the win today. This is Team 3R True 2. Now this is a team, folks, that is very, very close to my heart, because I started True 2 all those years ago over on Swift, and it became the most popular group ride, sometimes having up to 1,000 riders Yes, you heard that right. 1,000 riders in a group ride. And Jonathan Stone, who's leading them out at the moment, is with Jeffries. I know Jeffries. Wides must be a newcomer. Not so sure about Wides, but Jonathan is only just come over to RGT to try out the platform, and he's told me that he loves it, so he's going to be doing a lot more. Anyway, that's the Team 3R True 2 team. Let's have a look at the next one. This is OTR Green. Now, we watched them race in the first race that I covered, and they lost out to OTR Black, but let's see what they can do tonight. You've got Mike Aid, you've got Adrian Bennett and Gordon Jackson. Now, there is only 3 in this team, unfortunately, because they had 2 of their riders had technicals before the start of this race, and so unfortunately they're down to the bare minimum of 3 riders, which puts them at an instant disadvantage. And I think that's a bit of an unfair advantage, but I'm sure they'll do the best they can. OTR Black, again, we've seen this team. They went head to head the other night with the No Pins team. And here we've got 5 riders. We've got Peter Brook-Farvo, we've got Tony Simmons, we've got James Ogilvie, who's the captain, we've got Keith Aitchison and Patricios. Now, I keep calling him in Neil, but I'm really not, or Nigel, and I'm really not sure what his first name is. But there we go. So this is OTR Black, and they put in a very good performance in the running against the No Pins Race 3R team. Now, they are a well-drilled unit, so expect them to work well together and stay together. And now we'll have a look at the No Pins Race 3R. Now, when I covered them the other night, they looked a little bit uncoordinated, but they were really putting the hammer down, and you can see here they're working very, very well together. And they are a powerful team. I mean, you've got some of the best riders from the Swift platform here: Matt Lucker, Liam Bard, Steve Brearley, the real workhorse of the team. So they've got a strong team out here, and I would expect the No Pins Race 3R team to be up there challenging for the win. And then the last team we're going to have a look at is Cyborg CCS. Now, as I say, this is a team, I think, yeah, here we go, Cyborg TTS. Oh, have I already? Yeah, I've already covered them. Sorry, folks. But this is a team I'm not familiar with. So yeah, it's nice to come back to them and have a look. Maxime is a very good rider and a very strong rider. So let's see how these guys get on. I mean, the speed, they're on the downhill section at the moment, only slight slope, but they are really hitting 50 kilometers an hour, so they're not hanging about, and this is looking good for Cyborg. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If not, again, apologies. I can only go by what I can read on screen. So unless we quickly flash through all 6 riders. In fact, can we do that, David? Can we go from start to finish through all 6, and we'll quickly try and pick up? Okay, so 3.82. Next team, please. 4 points. So yeah, this team is obviously leading green. This team is leading black. Next team, Team 3R True 2 somewhere in the middle, so they're not leading. Poker Motion, I think it looks like No Pins are leading at the moment. Yeah, I would say No Pins are leading at the moment. If we can go back to No Pins, yes they are. So No Pins have got the lead at the moment as we stand. Now obviously it's a little bit difficult to see the distances when we've got all 6 on screen. So we're going to do this throughout the race. We're going to flick through all 6 teams and keep an eye on the distance completed. That will give you an idea, as you can see here, of who's currently leading the charge. I mean, I like the look of this team. They're riding really well together, the Pokemotion team. I love the jerseys anyway, the GBR jerseys, but they do look like a well-drilled unit, and they've taken my advice that I gave out in the early part of this series, which was all the riders should be riding on the same bikes, and they should be wearing the same kit, and they should be wearing the same colour helmets. In other words, they should all be identical, because that's more professional, folks. It looks a lot nicer. Look how well drilled this unit is. I mean, they are without a doubt, to my mind and my eyes at the moment, the most well drilled. Whether they're the fastest doesn't matter. They certainly look the most well drilled of all the teams we've seen so far. Now obviously OTR Black have listened to me, because listen to me in terms of the kit and the helmets, but they still need to sort the bikes out. They're on 3 different bikes, so they lose points for style, but they make up for that in effort and performance. Cybo, are they all on the same? No, they're not on the same bikes either. I mean, it is a personal thing, folks, and I'm only nitpicking here, because from a viewer's point of view, that's what I would like to see. I would like to see all riders in the same jerseys, and all riders on the same bikes and kit. It just looks more professional. And RGT is starting to put on some really premium events. Well, not starting, he's been putting on some premium events, and so the exposure we're getting, I think all of the teams racing on RGT should make the effort to look more professional. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox, but Team 3R True 2, as I say, a team very, very close to my heart, and there would have been a time when I would perhaps have been riding this with them had I stayed with Team 3R. But back to OTR Green, and Adrian's leading them out. And these 3 are riding really well together. They're staying close to each other, close to the wheels, and that's what you've got to do when doing a team time trial. You can't afford to lose like a bike length from your teammates, because then you have to push much harder to close the gaps, and that's just wasted energy. So the basic idea is to try and stay on each other's wheels, try and stay close, and if you're strong enough, do through and off. But obviously where you've got small teams like this, you're gonna have, like, you know, Adrian and Gordon probably doing the majority of the work here, because they're the two of the 3 stronger riders, although Mike Aid is no slouch. But they're down to 3 riders, and that's got to hurt them. That's got to hurt them a lot. Now it looks like Team 3R True 2 are also shipping riders. Can we go to them? Yeah, it looks like they're down to 3 riders, so I'm sure they started with 4, didn't they? But anyway, we've got 3 riders here from Team 3R True 2, and don't forget, this is a new team, the True 2 team over here on RGT, so they've got to be applauded, because they're coming over for the first time and taking part. I know this will be Jonathan's first team time trial, so well done, Jonathan, with bringing this team across. So as I say, it's a little bit difficult. I can just about try to make out some of the figures here, and the no pins team 8 kilometers in now, so the OTR Black at 8 kilometers also, so it's a close run thing at the moment between no pins and OTR Black. And they're looking well drilled now. They're getting into the groove. They're looking well drilled. Look through and off, working well. I mean, Tom Wilkinson on the front, he will do, I would have thought, big long pulls, because he's possibly the strongest rider in this group. Although you can hardly discount Gringo and Luca and Liam Bard. But yeah, they're a very strong team. So let's have a look. What we got then? Pokemotion, they're almost 9 kilometers in. So the top three teams are Pokemotion, Race 3R, sorry, No Pins Race 3R, and OTR Black out of the 6 teams at the moment. As you can see, there's very little between OTR Black and Pokemotion. So that's going to be an exciting battle as we get further into the race. No Pins have got a fairly decent lead at the moment, but it's early days yet. We're only 9 kilometers in, so we've got 12 left to ride. This team looks nice as well. They're riding well, so it could well get, you know, start to close up. I think Team 3R True 2 are currently possibly in 4th place. OTR Green 58. It's too close to call at the moment. This is some good riding. Here we go. No Pins, I believe, are going to be in the lead at the moment. They're almost 10 kilometers in. Can we switch to Pokemotion? Let's have a look. Yeah, 9. So there's very little between, and this team, don't they look well drilled? So Lyndon leading them out at the moment, but this team looks well drilled. Now Nick Giles is an ex national champion, so you would expect him to go well. And OTR Black look are not that far behind on the heels either. So at the moment it looks like No Pins, Pokemotion, you can hardly fit a credit card between those two teams, and OTR Black in 3rd place at the moment. At least that's the way I'm reading it. I mean, that can change because this is we're only halfway through the race and the top 3 are very close, and in fact Cyborg, yeah, so this is a difficult one for me to call at the moment. The splits we'll get the 10 kilometer split on. There we go. We've got the 10 kilometer split on screen. So here you can see, and it is as I called it. It is No Pins are just in the lead, as you can see. Pokemotion a close second, and OTR Black and Cyborg are neck and neck for 3rd. And that's the yellow banner that you just saw on the screen there, with Cyborg going under it. So that's the halfway point. So there's not much in, I mean, between 1st and 4th, you've only got, what, 42 seconds? So this is Ciboire for okay, Ciboire. I'm just being corrected with my pronunciation, Ciboire. Okay, I'll try and get that right, Ciboire. Okay. Don't forget, this is the first, you know, in my defence, Damon, this is the first time I've seen Ciboire. So, yeah. So it's looking exciting. Who's going to hit the 11 kilometre? Pokemotion have hit 11 kilometres. What about, as have No Pins. So, this is a close race. Team 3R and OTR Green are just going under the halfway banner, so they're a little way behind. Yes, as you can see from the graphic, the 10 kilometre split. But to be fair to both Team 3R and OTR Green, they're both running with 3 riders from the very start. So, you know, they were at a disadvantage before we even started. And to be fair to my Team 3R True 2 colleagues, they they won't have had any chance to practice this. They're new on the platform. But this team, now I did say that Wilkinson would be the strongest rider and probably lead out this team, and here we go. They've shipped 2 of their riders, well more, but towards the middle of the race they've shipped 2 of their riders. I mean, even Liam is struggling to get on the wheels here, which tells you how hard they're going. So it does look like No Pins could be on for the win, but Poker Motion are not letting them go. And here you can see that the 2 riders up front, Nick Giles and Lyndon, are distancing their teammates. Now they need to let at least one of these riders get back on, preferably both, and stay together. And if they work well together as a 4-man team, I mean, obviously the stronger riders need to take the big pulls, but the other riders can draft, save some energy, and then do some work on the front. Only a little spells, but every little will help in this kind of a race. But you see, OTR Black here, they don't have that option now. They're down to 3 riders, so they don't have the option of swapping around. All these 3 riders have got to do the fair share, or at least try and do the fair share the workload. Now Cibois here, Maxime leading them out. Maxime, I would say, is possibly one of the, and Dufour, they're probably the 2 strong, although having said that, Dallaire then takes his turn on the front. But this is a good team. There are a couple of members I don't know, but they're certainly working well and looking well. And they're managing to stay together as a 4-man unit, which is going to help them. I mean, this Dallaire does look like a strong rider pulling off the front here. So they're certainly not giving it. Now, what's happened here to Jonathan? It looks like there's been an issue here, folks, because Jonathan has been dropped off by the other 2. Now, this could be a technical. Looking at the wattage that the other riders are doing and the wattage that Jonathan's doing, I suspect he's had a technical. So this is not something which he can help. And this is such a shame. I really feel for them, because, as I say, my ex-teammates here, yeah, it looks like they've totally blown apart. I suspect Jonathan has had a technical, and that's why these 2 are trying to keep it going, but they have to. And the thing is, to get a time, they have to wait for Jonathan. They can't, and they should be doing that. They should really be sort of like sitting up and collecting Jonathan, because you have to have 3 riders to finish. 2 riders can't finish. It's on the 3rd man. So they really should wait for him and work together. There's no sense in them riding as 3 individuals like they are doing at the moment. I mean, Widders 35 metres in front of Jeffries here, and then Jonathan a further 60 metres behind. They need to get their act together and get together. And if you watch this later, Jonathan, there's a tip for you, mate. You know, you should be possibly using Discord. Now, I know you know how to use it because you use it for the 2-2 rides. So you should be using Discord and chatting with each other. Okay, so Jeffries has waited for Jonathan, and Jonathan will come steaming past. Jeffries gets on his wheel, needs to stay with him because Jonathan's not hanging about. 3.5 watt kilos he's putting in just to get back. And now they need to catch Widders, who's... Widders has been a fool. Excuse me saying so, Widders, but you have. You've been a fool here. You've gone far too far in front. Anyway, let's concentrate on OTR Green. They're staying together, and this is what you've got to do, 2-2 3R. You've got to stay together, because it's 3 riders to count. Here they go. They're catching up with Widders now. There's no sense in one rider being off the front, because it doesn't do your team any good, and you're losing energy just trying to. There we go. If he's that strong, now he does his pulling on the front, but he pulls when you're on his wheel. Okay, let's have a look at some of the other teams. So you can see that at the halfway point, No Pins Race 3R were in the lead. Can we quickly go to No Pins and have a look and see where they are? Okay, so they've got 16.8. Can we quickly go to PokerMotion? 16.12, 16.14. Okay, so they've pulled out basically 600 meters on PokerMotion. So I don't think that's really increased an awful lot. And on Ciboire, so it's basically between two teams now. It's between PokerMotion and No Pins at the front of the race. I mean, obviously everybody's fighting for a place here, so we'll keep a check on what the other teams are doing. But the two teams up front, No Pins Race 3R, which we're back with now, they've got 4.5 to go. 700 meters behind, you've got, well, 600, as I said earlier, you've got PokerMotion. So it's definitely not over. I mean, Nick Giles is probably the strongest of this group, as I mentioned earlier, ex-champion. So he's trying to pull them along, but you know, his teammates, if they're struggling to stay on his wheel, then he possibly needs to ease up just slightly to allow them to draft him. It's a tough call. I mean, do you push as hard as you can off the front and, you know, and try and encourage your teammates to get on your wheel, or to my mind, you do the more sensible thing and keep an eye on where your teammates are and just allow no more than half a wheel off the front. Because if they're not drafting you, then the energy and wattage you're putting in is wasted. Like Nick here, is it Nick off the front at the moment for PokerMotion? You know, if you're more than 2 bike lengths behind, no, it was a loony, you're not getting the draft. You've got to stay close. You've got to stay within, and the well-drilled units, you'll notice, do that. I mean, they're looking good now, but you can't afford a 1 or 2 bike length gap, because then you're losing the draft. And it's the drafting in team time trialing that's really, really important. That allows you recovery. And you can see No Pins here are working well together. They're staying close. So Wilkinson up front. And Wilkinson will be having to sort of like ease back slightly here, because Liam is struggling to hold this pace. Now Gringo, I was told who Gringo was. He's a top rider, but I can't remember exactly who it was. Damon may well be able to find that detail out for me. But he is a top rider, along with Wilkinson. So Liam is actually, of these 3 riders, I deign to say the weakest, but I'm sure he won't mind me saying that Tom and Gringo are stronger riders than he is. Not that he's any slouch. I mean, he'd win the majority of the races he takes part in. So but PokerMotion haven't given it up. They need to, they're on the slope now, so they need to be really right. Gringo is Chris Smart. I've just been informed by Damon. So for those that don't know, Chris Smart is one of the leading lights over on Swift. A very good rider. And obviously we know OTR Black, Peter Brooke-Ravel, Tony Simmons and James Ogilvie. And nice to see Team 3R True 2 back together again now. So I wonder whether they did just distance Jonathan, or whether Jonathan had a technical. The fact it would be unusual for Jonathan to lose, what was it, 200 meters behind. Maybe they got the tactics wrong, but I'm going to go for a technical, and I'll have a word with Jonathan and find out exactly what the problem was later. But I do know that having watched OTR Green race previously, I do know that Mike struggles to stay with the other two riders. And it's always difficult when you're just a small team and you have one rider, you know, that's struggling off the back. It's no fun, trust me on that. I mean, these three are working really well together, so it's no wonder that they're pulling off a lead at the moment. They really are working well together, all taking a turn. You saw Liam was just on the front, then it's Wilkinson and then Gringo. So working well together, as are the PokerMotion team. So what we got 1 kilometre banner. They're just going under it now. So this, to my mind, is going to be the winning ride. But, you know, PokerMotion within touching distance. So they were only 600 metres behind. No, they've dropped further behind now. I think what's done it, folks, is the final bit of ascent, the final bit of that climb has really gapped them, because these three riders just pushed on and were able to get the advantage going over that last climb. So they have pushed out the gap, and at the end of the day it's going to be a sizable gap, I feel. So this is going to be a good win for the No Pins Race 3R team. And you have to applaud them, because they do look like a well-drilled unit. Here we go, 150 metres to go. You can see the banner coming up. So it's the third rider over the line. Not sure who that's going to be. Looks like Liam or Gringo. No, Gringo. So there we go, 28:35. Now that's a fantastic time. That's a fast time. So already 28:45 under the 1 kilometre to go banner. So yeah, it's a good gap, is this. But I think PokerMotion are going to come in second. Yes, they are. Cibois are in third place, I believe. But PokerMotion are going to take second place. And OTR Black, they'll get fourth place. So here's PokerMotion coming into the finish. 500 metres left to ride, and still looking a very well drilled unit. I think we'll see improvements with this team. I really do. I don't know whether this is the first time they've ridden together in a team time trial, but they certainly look a well drilled unit, and certainly the most professional of all the 6 teams out today, all in matching kit and matching bikes. So it looks stunning. Well done. Very, very impressed with this PokerMotion team. 3 riders to count, so come on Nick, put your foot down. Come on, put your foot down. It looked like he was cruising in. Maybe he didn't realise it was third rider. Okay, Nick Jow's third over the line. As you can see, these 3 are staying together and not much far behind. So that was a close race. We'll get the timings, folks, but that was a close race between Cibois and PokerMotion. OTR Black coming in for 4th place, and again not that far behind. So the top 4 pretty close together. Well, No Pins pulled out a lead for the finish as James comes over third wheel. OTR Black. So next on the road, I think it should be a battle between is it going to be Team 3R or OTR Green? Who's going to take the honours here? I think we've got Team, it looks like Team 3R True 2 have got problems again. So OTR Green should take the 5th spot. Can we go to OTR Green? Here we go, 2.2 to go. And can we flick to Team True 2? 1.8, and have we got 3 riders? Oh, yes, we have. So no, it looks like Team 3R True 2 are going to take 5th place. So they've come back together. I think they need to have a word with each other. I'm not criticising folks, but you need to learn about team time trialing tactics. You stay together. I was watching on screen, I don't know which of the 3 riders it was, but it was well off the front, and that doesn't help. I've mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, whereas you can see the OTR green team are staying together as a 3-man group. I mean, Team 3R True 2 are now, but you've got to stay together throughout the whole race. I mean, obviously OTR is my team, so they're the ones I'm rooting for. But this is my old team. I spent many years with Team 3R over on Swift, building up a really good presence there. And the True 2, the reason why they're called True 2 is we came up with the idea of running group rides at 2.0 watt kilos and basically trying to get new riders coming onto the platform. And as I say, at the end of the day, we ended up having huge social rides. And the kit looks absolutely wonderful. So 450 meters to go for the True 2 boys, and I'm so pleased to see them on the platform. Worked really hard myself with Team 3R over on RGT when I first came over with the group rides, trying to get a presence over here. So I'm really proud of these guys. And Jonathan, you couldn't have a better ambassador for Team 3R. He's a true hero in my mind with what he's done. I handed over the reins of True 2 to him, and yeah, wonderful job he's done. Well done, team. And OTR Green just coming in behind, so a very close thing between True 2 and OTR Green. Well done, boys, and well done, Mike, for hanging in there. Really good racing, folks. Now, I don't know whether we can get the times of all 6 teams up on screen. We'll try. Here we go. Okay, so we're gonna get the teams and the times up on screen. So, as I said, no pins with a 28.35. So, comfortable win at the end. Really, I mean, 1 minute 30 almost is a comfortable win in a 21 kilometer time trial, but very close between Pokemotion and Cibois. And then you've got OTR Black, not too far behind. And then the 2 teams were really at a bit of a disadvantage right out of the starting gate. Team 3R True 2 and OTR Green, very close together, only 19 seconds between them. So that was a close run thing, and it would be nice to see those 2 going head to head, OTR Green and Team 3R True 2, in a future edition. Now this was week 1, so we've got a few more weeks yet to go, and no doubt we'll be back for another series next week. So take care, everybody. Stay safe. And week 1 race winner, obviously no pins, race 3R. Yeah, I've really enjoyed this. Hope I get invited back. And if I do, and I'm sure I will, I'll see you in the next one. Everybody stay safe, take care, and enjoy what's left of the weekend. Bye for now.